I want to see the winner.
It'll be fun.
That's Channel 7 News at 5.
Channel 7 News at 5:30 is next, so stay right where you are.
The families of 2 teenage murder victims get a message from the killer. In our Kids in School report, Florida college kids packing a lot more than just books for class.
I'm Channel 7 health specialist Marilyn Mitzel. Busy couples learn to have a baby in a weekend crash course.
And Geraldo using his fists to get his point across. These stories and much more just ahead on Channel 7 News at 5:30.
Monday night, it's a rave thing with Rosala, the queen of techno, performing live on stage on the next Arsenio.
Tonight at 11 on WSVN 7.
The American dream means something different to everyone. So at Chase Manhattan, experts will help select investments that are right for you. Options for an entire portfolio, from CDs to mutual funds, even global investments. Nearly 200 years have taught us that realizing our customers' dreams is the best investment we can make. Call 1-800-CHASE. Chase Manhattan. Profit from the experience.
When a muffler goes, some people look for a cheap replacement. Fact is, they can get a quality Midas muffler starting at $24.95. Don't believe anybody ever beats Midas.
A designer cotton shirt at fine stores, $32. The same shirt at Ross, $16. At Ross, the only difference is the price.
You're watching South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. This is Channel 7 News at 5:30.
The families of 2 girls found murdered on a Florida beach get a message from the killer. Good evening, I'm Lynn Martinez in for Joan Lovett. An eerie letter from a confessed killer, a letter mailed to the parents of 2 young murder victims. In March, these 2 girls were found dead in Alligator Point near the Florida Panhandle. Robert Rodriguez admitted he was the killer, said he couldn't live with himself any longer. So in May, he killed himself, but not before sending letters to police, former girlfriends, even relatives of the victims. Channel 7's Glenna Milberg has just gotten a hold of some of those letters. She joins us now live from our satellite news center. Glenna.
Letters from an obviously sick and very tormented man. Rodriguez was quite prolific with a pen. We have 9 letters of confession apparently mailed just before he killed himself. Letters to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, to his minister, to an Arizona newspaper, and to the 3 families whose daughters he says he killed.
Robert Rodriguez writes, to the families of Cherish DeSantis and Megan Carr, I chose Cherish to rape and beat and shot Megan, whereupon Cherish began to scream. I shot her too. I had not met them before and chose them because they were young, attractive, and in an isolated area. Last March, Megan and Cherish were found at Alligator Point Beach in the Panhandle. The Georgia co-eds were vacationing there. Rodriguez writes to their families, he had a mental obsession. He asks their forgiveness and says he takes the blame to his grave. And he also writes of another murder. 16-year-old Valerie Hunt from Leon County was killed, then burned in June 1984. Just before Rodriguez's suicide, Hunt's family received this letter. To the family of Valerie Hunt, in 1984, I killed your family member Valerie to protect myself from prosecution. I kidnapped her from Lost Lake on the 4th or 10th of June with the intent of raping and beating her. She was so kind to me that after I hit her a few times, I lost heart and killed her just to protect my own life and identity. Again, he apologizes and says he can't live with himself. Just after his latest murders at Alligator Point, Rodriguez drove to New Mexico, called a confession in to Florida State Police, mailed his letters, and killed himself.
Police say Rodriguez crisscrossed the country over the last 20 years. Right now, police are tracking his trail and unsolved murders along that trail, wondering if Rodriguez has killed even more people than he's confessed to. Glenna Milberg at the Satellite News Center. Now back to you.
Thanks, Glenna. Police say they've got the teenager who shot and killed a man over a bicycle. This morning, 2 men got into an argument over a bicycle at Northwest 26th Street and 2nd Avenue. Then one of them came home and came back with an Uzi and used it. 32-year-old Jorge Medina was killed instantly. Cops arrested a 17-year-old right after that shooting. He is charged with first-degree murder. A man in West Palm Beach is charged with beating, slashing, and drowning his ex-girlfriend. He allegedly beat her with a pair of pliers. then drowned her in a bathtub while her 2-year-old daughter listened from another room. Cops say he cut her wrists and then his own. She was dead by the time cops got there. He lived and is being held without bond.
Broward police now know the identity of a woman found beaten and tied with a belt Sunday morning. They called her Jane Doe, but tonight they know her name. It's Benita Kuhn. She is 45 years old, and she was found beaten, tied up, and carrying no ID at the side of a road west of Hollywood. Semi-conscious at the hospital today, Kuhn was able to tell police her name. She has a record of drug and prostitution arrests. Police are still looking for her attackers. Cops in Lauderhill say they've got an 84-year-old flasher on their hands. Harold Isaacs allegedly flashed kids as they walked by his house. When cops went to arrest him, they say he was watching TV in the nude, where anyone passing by could easily see him. Now Isaacs is charged with unnatural acts and exposing himself.
A high-speed chase through North Dade. Cops in Miami Shores say they started chasing a stolen car outside the Publix on Biscayne Boulevard and 93rd Street. Metro Dade cops joined in and chased them to Northwest Dade, where the suspects bailed out of their car. But the cops got him. Now the 2 men are in jail. One cop got hurt. His leg was hurt during that chase. A home invasion in Northwest Dade, and 2 kids are inside the house by themselves. 2 masked gunmen busted into the house. A 12-year-old girl and her young brother were home all by themselves. The crooks put guns to their heads, and the kids did exactly what they were told to do.
So they put the gun in our head and told them, you move, I'm going to kill you, and tell me where the gun's at. So we told them.
The kids say they were scared, but they were not hurt. Cops should not have a tough time finding those crooks because the children say they live just down the street.
In Detroit, a baby is fighting for his life tonight after being shot. Police say the 1-year-old got a hold of his parents' gun and then shot himself by accident. He is in the hospital tonight. Now cops will decide if they're going to charge his parents in the shooting. A 5-year-old kid selling lemonade gets ripped off. Cops in Pennsylvania are looking for a woman who they say squeezed lemonade money out of this child. They say the woman bought a cup of lemonade, then asked for more change than she was supposed to get.
She gave me 4 quarters for $4.
Sadly, this little boy didn't realize he was being swindled and gave this woman all his money.
Geraldo Rivera once again letting his fists do the talking. Take a look. The TV talk show host was reporting on a white supremacist demonstration in Wisconsin. He says he was verbally attacked by a Klansman. Fists started flying and both men were arrested. Geraldo is charged with misdemeanor battery. His wrestling partner is charged with disorderly conduct. Geraldo, as you could probably guess, is planning on showing that video on his TV talk show.
An update now on the stories we're following for you from 5 o'clock. Is a Jamaican gang responsible for a bloodbath inside a busy Jamaican restaurant? That's what cops are trying to find out tonight. Gunmen opened fire, killing 4 people over the weekend. 18 others were hurt. Police are searching for the killers. Meantime, nearby business owners are afraid the gang is going to retaliate. The manslaughter retrial of former Miami cop William Lozano may be moved back to Tallahassee. A judge thinks there's a better chance blacks will be seated on the jury in the capital than in Orlando, the other choice for a retrial. Lozano, of course, is charged with killing a black motorcyclist and his passenger. The Republican National Convention is underway in Houston tonight. On the agenda tonight, former President Ronald Reagan and former candidate Pat Buchanan are going to address delegates. Anchor Kelly Mitchell and senior reporter Mark Ludner are in Houston, and they'll have a live report at 6 o'clock.
A rare white tiger at the Metro Zoo may be feeling the effects of our environment firsthand. Vets have found out the 9-year-old has cancer. Now they'll try some procedures never done at that zoo just to save her life. This was Kapoor a month ago, on the operating table getting her yearly physical exam. It's an exam that may have saved her life.
When I was performing the exam, I found that there were some unusual inflammatory lesions.
Those lesions turned out to be cancer. Cancer on her lips and eyelid. The culprit, the sun. Vets say, just like people, a lot of exposure to the sun may have given her cancer. In fact, this type of cancer is most common in white cats.
And we believe that's because they don't have enough melanin pigment to filter out the ultraviolet rays, so it makes them more susceptible to that kind of cancer.
So now what? Well, the chances of Kapoor getting cured are very slim, but the chances of remission are better. Vets hope to implant radiation seeds in her lip and eyelid and zap that cancer, but there are some problems with using radiation.
We're not talking about anything incredibly hot, but it still needs something that we need to be able to contain it in, and we need to be able to guarantee that the radiation seeds stay in the tiger.
It's the first time the zoo will try a method like this, but it's not the first time the zoo has had to deal with cancer. Just last year, Natasha, a Bengal, died of a different kind of cancer, but zoo officials say things look a lot better for Kapoor because they got it early.
Wasn't for that physical, she probably would have hardly any chance of fighting this cancer.
Right now, the vets are not positive that Kapoor got it from the sun. They are testing her water and food just to be sure. She'll also be staying out of the sun from now on. She'll only be out after 4 o'clock.
Cats are fast becoming man's best friends and worst enemies. The Humane Society says cats are now America's favorite pet, replacing dogs. But at the same time, there's been a rise in violence against cats. Here in Florida, the number of cases of torture, beating, and burning of cats is on the rise, and nobody seems to really know why. A California man finally finds his lost pet. It probably shouldn't have been that hard. You see, his pet is a 6-foot boa constrictor. The snake was finally found wrapped around the bottom of his Chevy. His Chevy, that is. Mechanics struggled with the snake for nearly an hour, and they finally got him loose.
In other news, firefighters still trying to put out the fires in Northern California. 700 firefighters are battling those blazes. Hundreds have been left homeless. People rush to shelters, hotels, and the Red Cross, anywhere for safety. Hot, dry conditions are making it very difficult to put out those fires. Record rainstorms are soaking parts of North Carolina. Lots of roads are closed and emergency evacuations are underway. Since Friday, the area has been hit by more than 11 inches of rain. Forecasters say they're not out of the water yet. More showers are expected.
Mother Nature apparently has it out for Virginia. First the rains came, then a tornado, and now some floods. Today's flash flooding has caused massive evacuation. Authorities report up to 8 feet of water in some areas. Florida college students trying to make sure they're safe. They are packing a whole lot more than books when they go to class. That story in tonight's Kids in School report.
I'm Channel 7 Health Specialist Marilyn Mitzel. Couples too busy to attend childbirth classes are learning it all in one weekend. The story straight ahead, only on Channel 7 News.
And Woody Allen loves his adopted daughter, but it's more than fatherly affection. Stay with us for that.
You're watching Channel 7 News at 5:30 with Penny Daniels and Joan Lovett.
It is a book insiders call The Destruction of Ted Kennedy's Career. But now a top publisher has backed out. Inside Edition investigates the case of the disappearing poison pages.
It was written by his former chief of staff, Rick Burke. If anyone could hurt Ted Kennedy, it's probably Rick Burke. Now that a publisher has canceled its release, some are wondering, could this be another Kennedy cover-up? Watch an all-new Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7 on WSVN 7.
Cliff here at IHOP. Some people feel just too silly ordering IHOP's Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity Breakfast. I mean, it is a goofy name for 2 eggs, 2 bacon, 2 sausage, and 2 pancakes with your choice of fruit topping. But you'd have to be a real wimp to be embarrassed by something like that. I'll have the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity Breakfast. Nobody does breakfast like IHOP does breakfast. Coffee, too.
Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity, just $3.99. That's $3.99 Monday through Saturday at your IHOP now.
In a town where the lives are rich, but the people aren't, 7 working-class kids are trying to make it with music.
Times like these make me realize just how much I want this to work.
They've got the dream. They've got the drive. They've got each other.
I think it's gonna work out. Really do. Rock and roll.
The Heights. Series premiere Thursday, August 27th.
California and Florida have a lot in common. They make movies, we make movies. They grow oranges, we grow oranges. And both have beautiful beaches. But unless we save energy by carpooling, tuning up, and driving fuel-efficient cars, we'll have one more thing in common with California. Your Florida Energy Office is working hard to protect the Florida we all love. But we need your help.
Kids in School report tonight. Florida college kids are packing more than books when they go to class. Officials at the University of Florida in Gainesville say students are bringing in guns, mace, whatever they can in an effort to protect themselves. The students have been scared ever since 5 students were murdered in Gainesville 2 years ago. No warm welcome for a student who is HIV positive in Central Florida. School officials sent out letters to parents telling them a 13-year-old girl would be taking the classes with their kids. She moved to Lakeland from Maine, but a lot of parents are upset about that and don't want her going to school with their kids. They think she'll pass the deadly virus on to their students.
In medical news tonight, some people think condom dispensing machines should be in all bars and restaurants. Plus, more couples are taking new weekend crash courses on how to have a baby. Here's our health specialist, Marilyn Mitzel, with both of those stories and more. Marilyn.
Thanks, Penny. AIDS activists are trying to save a law that requires condom dispensing machines in all bars and restaurants. Such a law was recently passed in Boston, but now the city mayor says the new law is unconstitutional. He says while government can control how bars and restaurants are licensed, it cannot make establishments install condom machines. Childbirth instructors are trying to meet the needs of busy parents-to-be. Many two-career couples can't find the time to take an entire course on childbirth. Instead, they're taking a weekend crash course on how to have a baby.
And then you tell her, good job, Mom, way to go. All right.
Kim and Oscar Rangel both work full-time. They're almost never home. When they found out they were having a baby, they knew they couldn't take a standard childbirth preparation course. It runs 6 to 8 weeks. So they enrolled in a weekend class.
I thought getting away for the weekend would be a lot easier than trying to go every night after work during 6 consecutive weeks.
Too busy to commit to all those dates, more expecting couples are being taught how to have a baby over the weekend. Learning how to survive contractions.
The best way to remember, as weird as it seems, is imagine a dog panting. It's very short.
How to recognize transition.
Another thing, don't take it personal if Mom snaps at you. No matter what she says, like, get out of my room. It's your fault I got pregnant. I don't want you here. That's not what she means. She's actually telling you to stay. She's very nervous.
And dads learn what it's like to be pregnant.
Hey, how's that feel?
Not too bad.
Okay, put your arms in and put them all the way over your head. There you go. All right, Richard. Richard.
It's a full course on labor and delivery crammed into a day and a half at a nearby hotel. The weekends are often packaged as a special romantic getaway, possibly the last for a long time for the parents-to-be. Critics, however, worry that weekend students might be overwhelmed by the information and miss something. These instructors disagree.
Moms, put your hands right on top of Coach's hand.
They say instead of inattentive students who rushed from work, they're relaxed and remember more. All agree if you can't go to 6 classes, it's better for expecting couples to have something than nothing.
Deep cleansing breath. Good. Concentrate. You can do this. There's no exception to the rule.
Can't get out of it. There's no way. It's too late at that point. The weekend childbirth class is offered by Mercy Hospital. Many other hospitals are doing the same. Some couples actually are so busy they can't even get away for a weekend, so they are hiring these birthing instructors to come into their home, and they can do a crash course in 4 hours.
We did that. Yeah. We did that. But Rick didn't have to wear that outfit, and I don't think
we'll
that's
have to get him one anyway.
Yeah, for next time if there is a next time.
Or just for now.
Thank you, Marilyn. Lynn.
A pre-med student is beaten to death in Coral Springs. Police say he may have been killed because of his race. That story coming up at 6. And up next, Woody Allen's love for his daughter may have caused the breakup of his marriage.
HealthCast brought to you in part by PCA Qualicare. Now the finer things in life can include your Medicare HMO health plan.
When you reach a certain age, it's so good to know that your medical needs are covered and that the people who take care of your health are number 1. The Qualicare plan from PCA offers you that security and trust because we have the knowledge and experience. We're Physician Corporation of America.
With QualiCare, you receive the same benefits you traditionally receive with Medicare, but you also receive other benefits Medicare doesn't cover, without monthly payments, without deductibles. And you can choose your own doctor from our extensive list of private practice physicians, or receive care at any of our participating medical centers. Security, trust, experience, benefits, savings, personal quality care. In one word, QualiCare, the quality Medicare HMO plan from PCA Health Plans of Florida. Call us today, because now the finer things in life can include your Medicare plan.
I'm Sally Fitz, live in the Channel 7 newsroom. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. 5 people are arrested for the beating death of a UM medical student, and police say the murder may have been racially motivated. Police continue their search for the gunman who opened fire on a North Dade restaurant, killing 4 people. And a live report from the Republican convention in Houston, where George Bush hopes to boost his campaign. Rick Sanchez joins me for these stories and much more coming up on Channel 7 News at 6 o'clock.
10,000 hungry mosquitoes and biting flies. But they're not biting me. I'm using Deep Woods Off. It repels even the toughest mosquitoes and biting flies.
Deep Woods Off works.
Okay, so you're a hot Hollywood child star.
This is getting good.
But what's it like when your manager is your mother?
Well, that's great.
On the next Joan Rivers, meet Anthony Michael Hall and his manager mom, Mercedes. Plus, Barbara Cameron, the mother of Growing Pains Kurt Cameron, and his sister Candace of Full House.
For children, as a manager, it's just being a real good parent.
And the manager mom of Cosby's Malcolm Jamal Warner, Pam Warner. Next Joan Rivers.
The Joan Rivers Show, tomorrow at 10 on WSVN 7. Something funny's going on at 4 o'clock.
I just can't get over it.
It's the Golden Girls Comedy Hour.
That's the one.
Weekdays at 4 only on WSVN 7.
I think this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
I'm Steve Adams at Channel 7 Weather Center. The tropics are starting to heat up right now with Tropical Storm Andrew. We'll show you that in just a moment. Right now, let's check the current conditions. 87 degrees in Miami, winds out of the west at 3, the humidity at 78%. And the forecast says we're going to have Tropical Storm Andrew to watch for the next little while. Right now, the latest position at latitude 13.4 north, longitude 45.3 west. Winds are sustained at 45 miles per hour. It is continuing to move at west-northwest at 23 miles per hour. And in that direction, of course, it will continue to move toward the Lesser Antilles over the next little while. Still over 1,000 miles out, though, so no problem to us. As you can see, the only thing we have to worry about are the afternoon thunderstorms. And that cold front very lazily sliding across the eastern half of the country. It's moving into the east coast now, stationary along the southeast coast, down into the Gulf of Mexico, producing some pretty heavy thunderstorm and thundershower activity all across the area from the Carolinas all the way up into New York. Heaviest thunderstorm activity right along the mid-Atlantic coastal states. More thunderstorms out west. We'll have details on this and Tropical Storm Andrew for you at 6 o'clock.
Topping People News tonight, are you ready for this? Woody Allen admits he's in love with Mia Farrow's daughter. Allen and Farrow have been a couple for years. They are splitting up now. In a statement released today, the 57-year-old Allen admits he's in love with Mia's 21-year-old adopted daughter, Soon Yi. Allen suing Mia for custody of the couple's son and 2 other adopted kids, but says his relationship with Soon Yi has nothing to do with it. Pop star Gloria Estefan and her husband Emilio are buying a piece of Miami history. The couple bought the Cardoza Hotel on Miami Beach. They paid $5 million for the Cardoza, one of the Art Deco district's most famous hotels.
When Madonna turns 34, everyone comes out to her party. Hundreds of fans got together yesterday to celebrate her birthday in Southfield, Michigan. One of the highlights of the Madonna-thon was a visit to a field where she allegedly received her first kiss. There were plenty of lookalikes there, but no Madonna, I should say, showed up. The Democrats had their turn. Now the Republicans get their turn. The Republican National Convention is underway. A live report from Houston coming up at 6. And coming up in sports, Dan Marino better stay healthy. Now there is no one to back him up. Channel 7 News at 5:30 is coming right back.
We're going to fire and back to school cell.
Now,
40% off everything cool for back to school.
40% off all Buster Brown, Oshkosh, and Health Packs.
40% off all boys and girls tops and pants.
40% off all kids' sleepwear, socks, and underwear.
Save now on everything your kids need for school.
40% off at Byron's Back to School sale.
Hey, you dropped a J.
At Byron's.
Your Hyundai dealer presents Make the Right Call with Earl Strong.
If you're picking the dream team, do you go with Camry or Sonata V6? Sonata comes to play with air, stereo, and no-cost scheduled service. Not Camry, Airball by Toyota. And Sonata costs over $5,700 less after rebate. Go with the money player. The right call is Hyundai.
Score a $2,000 rebate on Sonata V6 at your Hyundai dealer now.
They've been called the most dangerous couple in America. But who were the real Bonnie and Clyde?
I never want you to leave me.
I promise. Now, for the first time, their true story is revealed in a world premiere motion picture.
12 people dead and you had them in your sights.
See how they became outlaws, lovers, legends.
You take whoever you need. Don't let them shoot first.
Bonnie and Clyde, the true story.
Tonight on the WSVN 7 Movie at 8.
Cheeseburger in a paradise. Heaven in a swamp with an onion slice. Hey, what happened to this gorgeous wetland? This is despicable.
America's wetlands are being lost. They're as vital as the rainforest, and their loss affects humans and wildlife alike. Daffy's waterfowl friends are vanishing.
Nobody's vanishing just yet, Buster. Support foul play. Save America's wetlands. Right, Daffy, Washington, D.C., 20240.
Now, Channel 7 Sports with Jim Barry.
Well, things were going so well for Dolphin quarterback Scott Mitchell. But today, a bad break. Literally, Mitchell has a broken finger, and suddenly the Dolphins are short of backup quarterbacks. Mitchell today was trying to adjust to an annoying splint. He broke a finger on his throwing hand in the Berlin game Saturday against the Broncos. In fact, it happened on the last play of the first half. He throws a pass here to Mark Clayton, and then Mitchell, number 19, comes up to throw a block. You'll see him right there. Ouch. Well, he could miss the rest of the preseason.
It's not a major problem, but it's something, it's just I need to get better before I play. And it's in my throwing hand, and it can lead to, a serious problem if it's not taken care of and treated properly.
Shaquille's out with the pectoral tear, and now Scott Mitchell. This had us working Jim Jensen out there as a quarterback today. It's been a long time since Jim's lined up as a quarterback.
So Jim Jensen once more has new life. More on that at 6:30. Well, what's a San Francisco sports fan to do? You might lose the baseball giants, and you might have to go through a football season without Jerry Rice. Niners owner Eddie DeBartolo, the happy recipient of many Super Bowl trophies, says he has, quote, bad vibes about contract talks with this holdout All-Pro. No question, Jerry is the man, as you see here, but he wants $4 million a year. Now, the Niners aren't stingy, but that's steep even for them. Rice says he'll sit out the whole year if he has to. Of course, they all say that. Well, at the end of last year, the college football polls couldn't agree on number one, but at the start of this season, they have no dispute. Today, UPI, just like CNN yesterday, picked the Canes as the nation's top team. Meantime, Washington was ranked number 2, even though the Huskies lost their hoss, Steve Entman, and a bunch of other Heisman candidates, as we see him posing here. And again, Notre Dame is overrated. The Fighting Irish ranked 3rd in the preseason polls. FSU is 4th. The Gators 6th. Well, Ray Floyd finished back in the pack in the PGA yesterday, but he was still happy to be back on a South Florida course today. It was time to tee off in the Ray Floyd Jr. Classic at Turnberry, and golf's great gentleman and his charming missus watched their 2 sons at work. Son Robert gets close, but not quite. He shot an 80 today. Meantime, son Raymond Jr. kind of misses the runway. He shot an 82. Scott Collis turned in a 79 and figures this ball has no more good shots left. The tourney runs through Wednesday. All right, back to Dolphin camp for just a minute. Linebacker John Offerdahl is Mr. Straight-Laced. He doesn't cuss, doesn't fuss, and he doesn't wear long hair. But John's new hairline suggests that he might be undergoing an image makeover. Final question. You're known as a very clean-cut guy.
Why am I looking like a mug?
No, turn around for a minute.
No, that's a hidden. That's just hanging back there until I have a real good game, then it comes off.
What's this in the back? This the new John Offerdahl?
Man, don't cut my good image here.
All right. Look at it. I like it, John. He's so bashful, he's so shy, and he probably will cut it. I think it's good to change your image every now and then. In fact, I'm thinking about changing mine, a new radical haircut and maybe an earring. What do you think?
How about a ponytail?
No, that's a little too radical.
A little bow?
No.
A long earring.
I like your new haircut, by the way, Penny.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes.
I live for your approval.
Oh, gee.
Thank you, Jim. That wraps up Channel 7 News at 5:30.
Channel 7 News at 6 is next.
Coming up on Channel 7 News at 6 o'clock, a University of Miami medical student is beaten to death. Police say the killing might be racially motivated. Police continue their search for the gunman responsible for a shooting massacre in North Dade. And President Bush tries to revive his campaign at the Republican National Convention. Live Team 7 coverage coming up on Channel 7 News at 6.
You're watching South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. Pitts, Sanchez, Daniels, Lovett. This is Channel 7 News at 6.